Yeah, when you're a leader, it's really hard sometimes when you see your team not following what seems to you to be very simple instructions or complete tasks with a high level of efficiency. But here's the hard truth that we always have to come to. That is, if they're not performing the way that we want, at the end of the day, that's on us because we're their leader.
I'm Grant Botma, best-selling author and founder of an Inc. 5000 fastest-growing company in America. There was a time when I was drowning in day-to-day work because I was wearing all the hats. My business was a source of tension and frustration. But now, I have a high-performing team of self-directed people that are the greatest asset to my multi-million-dollar business. A business that changes lives and is a source of joy and freedom in my life. The Culture Core Show is designed to give you insights on the simple team-building framework that worked for me. If you're a business owner, manager, or leader looking for actionable tips and practical conversations, you're in the right place. Have you ever thought to yourself, man, I have no idea how I'm going to turn this around? My company culture, the team that I have right now, oh, it's so bad, and it just seems like an uphill battle. I don't know how I'm going to turn it around to make things better. Maybe you even looked at the mirror and thought to yourself, I have not led well. And my poor leadership has led us to this place. I am so frustrated. How do I just blow it all up? How do I turn it around? Well, in this week's episode, we have Randee here. She is unbelievable. She is one of those people that decided, hey, enough is enough. I'm going to make a change. And wow, did it pay off for her. One of the things she struggled with that many of us have struggled with in the past is micromanaging our team. We want to control them. We want to make sure they're doing it right. And I get it. Your business is your baby. You've put everything into that. So you want to make sure that the actions that are being taken within your business are being done up to a very high standard, your high standard, the same high standard that got you success. But the truth is, when we don't give our team room, when we don't give them freedom, it kills the company culture. And she talks to you about the journey that she went through to get to where she's at now. She also talked about, hey, how do you reprimand employees? What does that look like? And we had a conversation about that. And we even had a conversation about hiring and what she can do with some of her current team and her current staff to boost public perception of her company culture, which will then bring amazing job applicants just flooding in the door. This is a great conversation with Randee, somebody that I really look up to based on how she was able to turn things around. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Check it out.
All right, you guys, I am here with Randee, and she's the owner of All Saints Insurance in Louisiana. Randee, we know that culture is one of those things that is sometimes hard to define, but we try to easily define it by saying these are the character traits, the things within your business that lead you to the actions that you're doing. So with that said, what is something about your company culture that you're super proud of?
I guess the thing that I'm the most proud of, and one of the biggest changes that we made over the last year, is empowering my team to be able to make decisions, to take care of our customers in a way that it doesn't have to run through me. They know that they have my trust, and they know what our unified purpose is, and they know that at the end of the day, it's all about taking care of our customers, and that it wasn't always that way.
Wow, so you're able to micromanage less and you have a team that's more self-directed. They're not waiting on your cues.
That's exactly right. Through your book, through your course, through lots of reading and studying, I wanted people to be excited to come to work, and I wanted them to take care of our customers. Happy team members, are happy customers. So I had to change my entire outlook and my entire way of doing business with my team. And it also defined good team members too, who had that same outlook, not just people who
Yes.
are clock punchers. So.
Wow. So how has trusting your team, how has giving them a voice changed things for you personally as the leader? What is your stress level like now?
Well, my stress level has reduced in a lot of ways. I actually, like you, have a couple of businesses. So
Mm.
I still wear a few different hats, but honestly, my day-to-day of all the things that I used to do and working late and, trying to keep customers happy and doing all of those things by empowering them and allowing them to, as long as it's done and the end result is correct, I mean, my day to day, I'm working more on my business than in my business, which is totally cliche.
It's
But it's true.
cliche, but it's important.
It,
Yeah.
it really is. So, now I can focus more on our marketing and what we want to focus on this quarter. I can focus more on planning things for our team or looking at different lines of business or niches that we'd like to go after. And so I'm able to focus more on the higher level things that only I can do per se. I mean,
Yeah.
the vision for the company. So it's been pretty exciting. Not
Congratulations to you
thank
for
you.
taking the steps needed, the hard steps needed to not just trust your team, but to empower them in a way so that your time can now be spent on where the biggest value needs to be added on things that only you can be doing, but then also in a way that your team is taking steps to grow the business and actually
Mhm.
scale it. What a beautiful thing.
A common comment that I get is, Grant, your schedule must be crazy. I would hate to look at your calendar. You own a mortgage company, insurance agency, an investment advisor. You wrote a best-selling book. How are you doing all of that and still maintaining the relationships with your family? Well, now I'm going to give you a copy of my calendar, a copy of my schedule. You'll be able to see what my day looks like, my week, my month, my quarter, and my year. All the things that I'm intentionally putting together to ensure, one, that I can get all the things done that I need to get done, but also I can have the relationships that I have with my family. This is yours for free. All you have to do is go to culturecourse.com/calendar. That is culturecourse.com/calendar. And there you can input your email address and you will get emailed a copy of my calendar, of my schedule with a video walkthrough of exactly why I do what I do and why it's important to maintaining efficiency in my schedule, but also maintaining the relationships that I have. Enjoy.
When you're talking about that with growth and trying to figure out company culture, it's a never-ending process. Look, I've got a book and a course on it, but I'm always learning. I'm always trying to get better at it. So as we understand this and know that it's a continual process, is there a frustration that you have as a manager, leader, or business owner about company culture that you're like, man, I'm not very good at this portion, or man, I wish things were different here?
I'm still working on, well, two parts. One is I'm still working on um, giving the feedback directly and giving it in a loving way. The other thing I really struggle with is when hiring is finding people to fit our culture in the
Mm,
way that it is now, because people don't wear signs. Some people are really good at putting on a facade of what they want you to see, not who they actually are.
yep.
Um, so those are the two things that I feel like I really struggle with.
Yeah, when you're a leader, it's really hard sometimes when you see your team not following what seems to you to be very simple instructions or complete tasks with a high level of just efficiency, right?
Mhm.
And you want a different result. You want them
Right.
to be doing things differently. But here's the hard truth that we always have to come to. That is, if they're not performing the way that we want, at the end of the day, that's on us because we're their
Mhm.
leader, right?
Exactly.
And if we don't have that as our default response will be what's wrong with them rather than what's wrong with me. And we have to be able to come to them and say, hey, look, we know that we're trying to pursue this particular purpose. You acted in this way, which didn't meet that purpose. Is there something that I could have done differently? Tell me more about how you did this particular action or why you did this particular action. How can
Mhm.
I help you better? How can I serve you better? Tell me more about that, and having a conversation to say, this is my fault. Okay. I could have done a better job leading you. I could have provided better resources for you. I could have given you better education. I could have given you clearer instructions, whatever they may be. Because if you start there, then it allows the conflict to be resolved a little bit better throughout the weeks and months leading into that.
Exactly right. And you had actually said that even before I took the culture course, it all
Hmm.
starts and stops with you. And
Yes.
that really set with me. And I was like, wow, okay, yeah. If I want them to do things a certain way, I have to give them what my expectations are. They're not mind readers.
Hmm.
So it really hit home for me. And then obviously, when you came out with the culture course, I was excited because it was a deep dive into more of that and taking my own accountability and what I wanted, from my teams. Otherwise, if you're reprimanding and you're writing team members up and you're doing, it leaves a bad taste in their mouth and they're going to underperform and they're not going to do it with a servant's heart, and they're not going to do it in a positive light. So,
And if you have a great company culture that employees are very proud to be a part of, how you can break through the masks that people are naturally and probably should be putting on during the hiring process, because it's just kind of weird, is
right,
by getting people that already know them, getting people that are already doing life with them, their
true,
friends, their family members that are now currently working for you, for them to say, hey, look, you need to hire my friend over here, right? I've had
right,
times where I'll open up a job position and one of my employees will come to me like, hey, so and so applied for the job. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I don't think they would be a good fit for the culture. And I'm like,
wow,
wow, that's a really big deal. Thank you for telling me that, because everything that I was taking them through up to this point was telling me that they'd be a great hire. So
right,
glad that you're on the team. So glad that you care. And who knows the culture better than you? Thank you. Well, the opposite of that is also true. When you have a company culture that your team is proud to be a part of, you're going to start seeing them post about on social media about how great it is to be employed by you. And then whenever you hire, you're going to have an opportunity for you to see resumes before you officially put the job out in the open, because your team is going to want their friends and people they care about, people they know would be good fits, to be a part of the team too.
exactly right. The biggest thing, I guess, for me is because we came from such polar opposite. And I was a micromanager and all of those things, and in our community, I mean, quite honestly, got a reputation for being that. So, with us looking to hire in the next 60 days, how would you suggest that I overcome that negative stigma in our community and have that positive feedback from our current team that says, hey, we've made changes, we've done all of these good things. It's no longer what you used to think of when you thought of, our agency. So how would you tackle that and overcome those hurdles?
Well, I think it's done with humility and apologizing.
Okay.
If you pursue your team, and as we teach in the course with the employer reviews, so every
Mhm.
quarter you're pursuing them, taking them out to lunch or coffee or a smoothie or whatever, and you're not reviewing them and telling them how their stats are doing, but you're pursuing them and asking them how they're feeling about their job, asking them how they're feeling about their position, asking them what they think they're good at, what they think they're not good at, how they feel about you as a manager owner, what you could do to get better as their manager. If you're pursuing them genuinely,
Mhm.
asking them, hey, how do you how does your family feel about your job, stuff like that, and in those meetings also say, hey, look, I understand in the past I haven't been the best and I'm sorry, and you apologize, and you kind of make that a theme over the next 60 days where, hey, look, I'm humbly just saying I'm sorry and I'm making it better, and guys, we're taking action steps to do it better. Look, I'm pursuing you at least in these meetings. That's going to start changing things. That's going to start helping a lot. And just having that focus each day in the office, say, look for an opportunity for me to exhibit humility to my team who maybe wasn't able to experience it from me when they first got here 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and that'll help a lot.
That makes sense. That helps with the internal part. What would you say would help with the external, like the community when we, post this on our social media? How would you overcome that with the public perception?
I would say with transparency, I would
Okay.
do a social media post on your own personal social media and then share it on the business social media, where you almost write a long form post where you say, and you start it with a problem and say, man, I wasn't always the best manager or leader. And then you go in to talk about the struggles that you had. And then you
Okay.
go in to talk about, oh man, there's been so many other managers or business owners that I've recognized that also have this struggle too. And I've worked hard. I've read many books. I've taken online courses, and we are changing our culture on the inside. And I am pumped to say that I'm seeing those changes happen. And then tag your current team and say, I'm so proud of some of these people who have endured my issues as a leader or manager, but are now seeing the results on the other side of it. And I am excited about the momentum that we have moving forward. And you just kind of talk about, be transparent with yourself about the issue that you had and the things that you've done to move forward with it. Now, one or two posts over the next 60 days might not move the needle a lot. This is
Mhm.
something that you're going to have to do consistently over a longer period of time. You're going to want to do certain things for your team and celebrate them.
Okay.
At least once a week, doing a post talking about how awesome they are. At least, once a month doing an event and taking pictures of it and posting it on social media, celebrating your team. Anytime you guys win an award, don't take credit for it. Really push for your team that they're the ones that are awesome. And the other thing that you can do is anytime you see a family member of your team, don't even ignore your team and go right to their spouse, go right to their kids, get on their eye level and say, do you know how awesome your husband, wife, your mom, dad is? They do this thing, and I know it sounds like it's just insurance, but they're making a real impact on people's lives over here. Because they're doing ABC, it means that they're pursuing our purpose in this way, and it makes a big impact on our community. I'm so proud of them. Your mom or dad, your husband or wife, your friend, whoever it is, they're awesome. And you start doing stuff like that consistently whenever you see family members, it's going to start really snowballing after a period of months and of you doing that consistently.
Gotcha. Okay, that's awesome advice for ways that we can change our agency through our public perception and social media and thanking our team. I mean, we do a lot of that internally. We just don't advertise it to the world, but it sounds like that would be a great positive way for them to feel recognized, which is also important for our team.
Yep, celebrating with your team and any positive momentum or things that you're doing within your company is not only attractive to your team because they can say, man, I'm a part of that, and they're prideful with that, but customers going to say, man, I want to do business with somebody who's doing like stuff like that. You know,
Right.
if they care for our team that much, they're probably going to care for us customers that much too. So,
True. Very true.
you know.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback because that will help tremendously.
No problem. Randee, thank you so much for taking time to be on the podcast. So grateful for your transparency and all of your support for Culture Course over the years. And man, it's really, really cool to hear about the impact that's being made and the growth. Here's to a lot more success and having an awesome hire within the next 60 days for you as well.
Oh man, isn't Randee great? She is just wonderful. You know what's cool about this is after she's been able to implement some of the things, not just from this conversation, but from Culture Course, she's actually hired some people already. And she shared some screenshots with me of what some of the people in her community are saying about her company now. And some of the stuff is unbelievable. There are people that are just, man, I really want to work for a company like this. I really want to work for somebody like you. She has done a great job, and it's cool to see that she's having this success. Kudos to Randee. I'm so glad that she came on the show. She shared some of this with you guys. She's a wonderful manager, business leader, and a business owner. I'm hopeful that this conversation that she had, and it inspires you as it inspired me. Have a great week, guys. We will see you next week.